Shalom. Call hello Yahweh Bashem Awashai by Hashem Rakak. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. To the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners. And to the Akwaf that are listening and learning, to you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm coming at you with another lesson in truth. From the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago. And I'm just looking at this confusing weather, people in spring type apparel, but there's still snow on the ground. The scriptures clearly say that you won't be able to tell the time or season, all right, in these last days. But I'm going to get a little bit personal today because the events that I'm about to talk about and put scriptures to happened in my own family whom I told this truth to immediately when I woke up, family that pretty much disregarded me and called me crazy and don't really deal with me in that matter. Only a few of my family members, my youngest sister, my baby sister, and my oldest nephew are the only ones who really that I have a rapport with, and a spiritual connection with my nephew because he is a believer and a help, to the brotherhood. A lot of information that I've used for videos to edify is information that he sends. So he's definitely a believer, and Yahweh Ratazah, he be among the 1/3 elect. But I'm gonna go right to a scripture. I'm gonna read clear some of this stuff out. To Romans 15:4. And it reads, Salakia. And it reads, for whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort in scriptures might have hope. So the things that were written in the scriptures were written for our learning, for us to adjust our lives to make the corrections in our lives. And also it tells us of the things to avoid. All right. Like dibbling and dabbling with the left-hand side, with the black arts and that whole sort of thing. Now, I have a nephew, my sister, that I do love. She's my sister, all right? My older sister, not my oldest sister. I have 3 sisters. And my older sister, the one right over me, in succession of the siblings, she has three children, two sons and a daughter, all right? Her oldest son, who spent a lot of time with me in his youth, he learned Muay Thai, he was learning Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and he actually had potential because he was pretty good at it, and he had a couple street altercations where his skills showed to be, he learned his lesson well. And here's the crazy thing is that my nephew, the very one I'm talking about, at a teenager, he learned that he was an Israelite even before I did, and he hid that light under his bed. He hid that light, hid that truth, because about a year later is when I woke up to the truth and started really getting heavy into it, and of course brought it to my family, and he came against me so hard it actually hurt my feelings. Because this was my little man's. This was my man's. And, he had just turned into this complete and total demon. And I couldn't understand what was going on with him. To the point I had to put hands on him once for for getting out the pocket with his mom's, and talking sideways to his mother. And, and I had to put my hands on him. And our relationship had not been the same since, because I actually felt bad, after I did it. But, he had to learn that there's an order of things. All right. So, and I'm telling you all this stuff, I'm sharing this for a reason, man. Matter of fact, let me go to Matthew, the 10th chapter. And the 34th verse. And it reads, "Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And a man's foes shall be they of his own household." Those are going to be your biggest foes. You best believe it's going to be your own family members that turn you in, your own family members that call you a terrorist, your own family members that come against you for believing in the truth. And this is the truth. All right? There's only one truth on earth, and that's the absolute truth, and the men of the great millstone have it. And the brothers that teach the likewise doctrine, that acknowledge the apostles and elders as their teachers. That's the only truth that there is on earth, man, and we have it. All right, so not to make the story too long, my nephew was so against me because my nephew had been playing with the left-hand side. He had been dibbling and dabbling in voodoo. And this latest episode with my sister, because his mother is in a and there's a whole lot of stuff in between that but I'm not gonna get that personal with it. But his mother is in a facility right now, and she's doing a little bit better, Yahweh. But through this sickness, a lot of truth came out through this last episode, because she's been tripping like this for like the last 10 years, the whole time that I've been in the truth. All right. And her poor daughter, having to deal with that, deal with her mom being like that, and then her older brother being bugged out as well. And she told me that every time he comes around, that's when, her mother was doing fine until he comes around. Because I guess he was living with his father, he was staying with his father, and she was fine. But as soon as he hits the house, and my nephew that used to be in the camp that was with me, I used to go and get him and rescue him from being over there. I knew he didn't want to be there. And he would tell me how he would see apparitions and demons and stuff. And my niece confirmed it, that she would see them too. So it turns out that my nephew, all right, and all this came out with this last episode when all the siblings came together to try to help my sister, and when they called me and let me know what was going on, and I came to help them to get her, because she was being disagreeable with my niece. My niece was freaking out, didn't know what to do. But through all this drama and getting her into this facility, to get her to eat and get her breathing back right, because I guess they gave her some sort of medication and she wasn't eating or drinking, and it had her, I thought she was about to give up the ghost. Is how bad her breathing was. But I talked to her yesterday, and she sounded fine as far as her breathing was. It was normal again. But it turns out that my nephew had basically conjured up or got in contact with a high-level demon for riches. Because my nephew's no dummy. He's very intelligent. And he was dibbling and dabbling in the stock market, and he thought that if he did this voodoo thing, that he could get riches for the family. And he beguiled Eve, my sister. And my sister had already heard the gospel, heard the truth, was calling on the name of the Lord, and she allowed him to do that. As a matter of fact, I found out that she bought the equipment, the candles and the chalk and all the stuff to make the pentagram, all that other stuff, that she purchased it. And now it makes completely and total sense why she's bugged out right now. Okay, and why judgment has been so rough for her and her children. And my nephew that fell out the truth, hey, I still love my nephew, he's my nephew, but he fell out. Now the doors of mercy, now there is a scripture that says that, you take your hand from the plow, you're not fit for the kingdom. But you also have the parable of the prodigal son. So I'm hoping, because I do love him, I'm hoping that he comes back. In all honesty, that I hope that, But the Lord is no respecter of person. Matter of fact, let me get that. This is Leviticus 19:15. And it reads, ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment. Thou shalt not respect the person of the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty, but in righteousness shalt thou judge thy neighbor. So you have to judge accordingly. So, was I harsh with my nephew? Yes. Were my men in the camp, my brothers, harsh with him? Yes. Did they hate him? No. Because we're harsh with everyone that goes off, that does something wrong. As a matter of fact, I know for a fact that Nagab, Elder Nagab, one of the tops, one of the original members of Chicago GMS, ran into my nephew at work and told him, brother, come back. So, but there is no respect of person when it comes to judgment, man. Be it my very sons, my brother, my mother. No, there's no respect of persons in judgment, which sometimes you have to step back and allow other people to handle things when it gets too personal, when it's too close to you. All right. But I'm gonna give the account. Let me go to 1 Samuel. All right. Because my family had just pretty much written me off, especially after I ruined their, for those of you who saw the video about my cousin who had just become a pastor, and I put her in her place scripturally before the whole family, on Thanksgiving. That was the last time I got invited to anything because I ruined it, They couldn't eat their ham in peace. But this is 1 Samuel 28:7, and it reads, then said Samuel unto his servant, seek me a woman that have a familiar spirit, that I may go to her and inquire of her. And his servant said unto him, behold, there is a woman that have familiar spirits at Endor. All right, so people that deal in like them tarot card readings, and some of those people are fake, and just scamming people. But some of those people can actually contact people, or contact things on the other side, or see things, because I had a client, some years ago, Edomite, this Polish chick who was all in love with me, who was in lust with me, or whatever you want to call it, who went to see a tarot card reader with her best friend, and and she was engaged to some Edomite dude, but the tarot card reader started describing me. And she knew that the tarot card reader was describing me. Her friend was like, what the hell is going on? That's not how he looks. And she started describing this light-skinned black guy with muscles, and this dude, the guy she was with was like, kind of chubby and bald. Her friend is looking at her sideways. So the point of the story is that stuff is real, man. And when she told me that, I told her don't ever do that again. And I never dealt with her or anything like that. I kept it professional because it was money. She was a client, all right, and a coworker, because we actually had worked together before, and then that's how she became a client. All right, but nevertheless, I told her don't ever do nothing like that again, because the left-hand side is real, and that was kind of very new. That was probably like my first year in the truth. I said, you've been playing with those, with those spirits, something to follow you home, and that's basically what's going on in my sister's household. All right. But 1 Samuel 28:8, and it says, and Saul disguised himself and put on other raiment, and he went, and 2 men with him, and they came to the woman by the night. And he said, I pray thee, divine unto me a familiar spirit, and bring him up, whom I shall name unto thee. And the woman said unto him, behold, thou knowest what Saul hath done, how he hath cut off those that have familiar spirits and wizards out of the land. Wherefore then layest thou a snare for my life, to cause me to die? All right, because the scriptures clearly say I suffer not a witch to live. So people that do that, the Lord, they're supposed to get put to death. That's why these so-called Christians were, putting people to death, in the earlier part of the America, when America was being born, during the colonial times. It was also an excuse, I'm sure it was an excuse to get rid of certain people they just wanted to get rid of too. But nevertheless, and Saul sware to her by Yahweh, saying, As Yahweh liveth, there shall no punishment happen to thee for this thing. So he going off right there because he's causing this woman to sin. All right. And it says, then said the woman, whom shall I bring up unto thee? And he said, bring me up Samuel. And the woman saw Samuel, and she cried with a loud voice. And the woman spake unto Saul, saying, why hast thou deceived me? For thou art Saul. And the king said unto her, be not afraid, for what sawest thou? And the woman said unto Saul, I saw gods ascending out of the earth. And he said unto her, what form is he of? And he said, an old man cometh up, and he is covered with a mantle. And Saul perceived that it was Samuel, and he stooped with his face to the ground and bowed himself. And Samuel said to Saul, why hast thou disquieted me to bring me up? And Saul answered, I am sore distressed, for the Philistines make war against me, and power is departed from me, and answereth me no more, neither by prophets nor by dreams. Therefore I have called thee, that thou mayest make known unto me what I shall do. Then said Samuel, wherefore then dost thou ask me, seeing Yahweh is departed from thee, it is become thine enemy. See, so once the Lord is your enemy, and see, that's just it. That's why you don't want to gamble and take those chances, because you don't know if the Lord is going to forgive you. You don't know if the Lord is going to allow you to be a prodigal son. That's why you can't take your hand from the plow, man. All right? And you don't want to go praying and doing stuff with other gods, then try to come running back when things go sideways. Because my nephew is jacked up. The one who did that. He's gone. He's horrendously obese. Yeah, man, it's just, he's messed up, man. So the moral of the story is, man, you stick to that with what you know. So with that, I hope this was an enlightening, edifying lesson. Call Halal Yahweh Bashem Nawashai, Bashem Rakak Wadash, Wa Abba Babal, Shalawam, Kwam Yasharallah.